28 August 2020, and I'm joined by Thandiwe MSIMANGA, or Mam Thandi, from Canada. How are you, ma'am?
Very well, thank you, Pardon. How are you?
Fantastic. And you are a Gukurahundi survivor, and you told me yesterday that this has been affecting you for a very long time, and you actually got diagnosed with post-traumatic disorder. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so how do you feel about the current efforts by Mnangagwa to address the problem?
Right now, my feeling is, wounds are being opened, of course, because in the process of having this dialogue, I don't think it's being taken into consideration the psychological and emotional aspect of the genocide that was perpetrated by them, how it is opening wounds that we have managed to mask all these years. So yes, the dialogue is beautiful to have, but it depends with who is in that dialogue, what is going on in the process. The whole process is going to be re-evaluated.
Okay.
To have the correct players, leading the process.
Okay. So who would you want to see in the process?
The process of healing, I'll just give a simple example. If a man, let's say in a marriage scenario, if a husband abuses the wife is the one who has been receiving the beatings or subject to whatever abuse she has been having. She's the one who has to open up to want to receive help. If the husband really wants to, help the wife heal from that abuse, he has to let the wife lead the process. Even in psychology itself, it says the victim of any type of trauma is the one who has to lead the process. So in this whole process of, this dialogue of the Gukurahundi issue, I believe that the people that have to be in the forefront are definitely the victims, and I call them the survivors of 5th Brigade. Because we see that a lot of people rise up to the occasion and abuse the process by taking advantage or being opportunists, wanting to benefit from what happened to other people. So the platform, I'm very grateful that in 2020, the Honorable President is opening up to wanting to have a dialogue with the victims and the survivors of 5th Brigade. So we are the people that the President has to have a dialogue with, because, as I said, we have to consider the emotions, 1, 2, the psychological and the trauma that people have been facing or living with for all these years. I've been very fortunate enough that I'm in Canada, and I've received help that I needed, that I didn't know that I needed all these years. That's why I went, my doctors went on to discover and diagnose me with post-stress traumatic disorder because of the trauma that I encountered in 84, 85, 86, 87. So we need the rightful people in the forefront, definitely, because we are talking about wounds here. We are talking about lives. We are talking about people who lost their lives here. And you don't understand the feeling. Right now, as they are talking, my mind is being taken back to Cholocho. My mind is being taken back to me seeing those dead bodies. So I don't want people who do not have an understanding this 5th Brigade of understanding the impact it has had in the minds and the lives of so many victims who were victims then, but now we are survivors. So we have to be very, very careful. And whoever is dialoguing this, they've got to be very, 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 very careful. We need psychologists, we need clinicians to come in the forefront and help us in this healing process, not NGOs. I can open up an NGO and want to benefit, or my NGO to benefit for a cause, but this is not one of the causes that one can use their NGO to try and highlight or garner, donors for this. This is real life we are talking about here. This is lives that were destroyed we are talking about here. So that's where I am, my dear.
Okay, so let's say Mnangagwa wanted to talk to the victims. Where would you find them? Is there a group of victims, an organized group?
When you say organized, my dear, considering the situation of Zimbabwe, I'm not a politician. One thing I wanted to know, and I didn't know this Mnangagwa or Mugabe, whatever, I was just a young girl growing up in Matabeleland, we encountered this. So when you say organized, it means we will be trying to create something that is not there. Victims and survivors are scattered all over the world. Yes, we might have a WhatsApp group for 50th Brigade survivors. Yes, but it's not that we're organized. It's like we are there talking about our encounters. We are there talking about our experiences, sharing, especially from my own perspective, the help that I received that has shaped me to be the person that I am. So if Mnangagwa wants to talk, yes, I'm available to talk, and I have a lot of other people that will come, with me to talk. We want an open dialogue with the president, and because they are the perpetrators, we are the victims. We do know what's happened. So we want to have, for national healing to take place, this dialogue definitely has to happen between the perpetrators and the victims of that, whatever we may call it, genocide or moment of madness, as Mugabe called it. Yes.
Okay, so you do not recognize Matabeleland Collective as a group of churches and civic organizations that can represent your interests?
The problem is, like as I said earlier on, ever since being thrown into the political dynamics of Zimbabwe and being in some of these civic organizations, the representation is fabricated. And I'm speaking because of the experience I've garnered here in North America and England as well. So the real people that are supposed to be the driving force behind, especially this 50th Brigade genocide, are not there. We are having spokespeople, people who do not understand the in-depth of the damage that was done mentally, physically, So I recognize if they have to invite us to come to the table and be the ones leading the process of having a dialogue with the perpetrators. Because in the process, again, Mr. Pardon, what I want to highlight to you is some people know me as being involved in a lot of community initiatives here in Canada as well as there in Zimbabwe. We want to see the true victims in any situation being represented by a committee that has been set up by themselves. We do not want to be led by outsiders who do not understand. You understand? I'm a church member. I'm a God-fearing woman. I love God so much. That's why I'm being very vocal right now, because I come from a position of forgiveness. Definitely forgiveness is at the forefront, is one of our objectives in wanting to have a dialogue with the president. So we do not want to represent us. We want ourselves to be representing ourselves in this narration and in this dialogue with the president. And if he has to say sorry, the sorry has not to be, passed on from one group to the other to reach the victims. It will not work that way. We don't want it that way. We want a direct dialogue with Mr. Mnangagwa and his, whoever was with him during that moment of madness, as it is something, because this is a genocide. We are talking about people that died. We are talking about people that lives that were destroyed mentally, physically, spiritually. This is not a joke, and this has been going on for You know, I'm 56 now, and this happened when I was still young in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is 40 years, right? Imagine how old was I when Zimbabwe came into power. So see the damage that has been done. The damage is beyond talking, is beyond monetary value. You can't quantify it. So the rightful people that have to talk about this is the ones who know exactly what happened, the ones that experienced the rapes, experienced the eating or seeing their mothers eat chameleons, those who experienced seeing people beaten, seeing dead bodies, forced to bury dead bodies, forced to watch their own people being buried. So you see, there's a lot of trauma, and we have to be very careful when you are discussing this, because really, we need to have, I spoke to my doctor before I spoke to you. He said, be careful of how this thing is gonna go. And I feel for my people in Zimbabwe that we are talking about this, but do we have an understanding of where they are standing psychologically, mentally, spiritually? After all these years, they never received any help. Yeah? So all these organizations, to me, they don't carry credibility. Yeah? We have seen churches these days mushrooming everywhere. Fake churches, fake prophets and pastors. Yeah? All mushroom because of money. We have seen political parties rising, all because of money. You understand? So this is not about money. This is real life we are talking about. I would like to be led by somebody who was born in 1985, 1990, or somebody from the opposition to lead me to heal. No. I want to lead the process myself as the victim, to say, okay, let us talk, because I have the evidence, I have facts. Not even facts, I don't need facts, evidence, because I lived it. You understand? And thousands of other young people, especially who are in South Africa, they are very angry. You understand? When I talk to them, that's why I'm called Mam Thandi. I talk to them, quieting them. You understand? I say, no, guys, yes, this happened, but let us look at it from a perspective of forgiveness, because if you carry anger or hate yourself, you are hating yourself in the process. Because I did counseling here, and I've been helped a lot. So we really have to be very, very careful on discussing this matter. Yes, healing of the land is needed. And the healing of the land will come and be derived from the victims of the Indunas, those that were there, and the victims that are there. I know a lot. I was a teacher. I know school children who left and went to South Africa. And I also ran away from Zimbabwe when I was very young, and went to South Africa and gallivanted to where I am here in Canada. It's not been easy, my brother. So we cannot just talk about this as if we are talking politics or campaigning for position in political parties and stuff like that. It cannot happen like that. This is real trauma. This is traumatic. So people have got to be very careful. And those organizations that are standing up, who are they? What is their credibility? What do they want? What's in it for them? Because with us, it's deeper than money. We're separated from families. Our people have perished. And we are scared to. When I came to Canada, when I told people my story, they were like, you can't talk about Gukurahundi today. And that was in 2006, I remember. This happened a long time ago. I said, but do you realize the impact that this thing has had in my life, growing up and living? Many people do not realize the impact that the brutality that was committed by 5th Brigade, by a support unit, by 6th Brigade, by paratroopers, the impact that it has had on destroying people's lives. We have been disempowered for all these years. I'm speaking because I'm a Christian. I believe that God is protecting me. God protected me from, all those horrific things I witnessed in Cholocho and Lupane. For this purpose, to speak healing, to speak oneness, to rebuild our nation with trueness and openness. So the people that have got to lead the dialogue for truth and reconciliation are the perpetrators and the victims. The outsiders must stand on the side and watch the space.
Okay.
You know.
I think we have said quite a lot. So I wanted to talk about the story today, but I think we should actually leave that for another session, because I want us to finish this part and I want to put it on our WhatsApp group. So our file has to be quite short. So the question I want to ask you is, if I was to put your number here on the video, on the screen, are you open to people from Mnangagwa's office calling you to talk to you? How can they contact you?
One thing, coming from Matabeleland, I experienced brutality. Fear was instilled since 1983-84. Opening my mouth in Zimbabwe, to me, is a death sentence. But, like as I said, I'm a child of God. And I cannot go to the grave with this pain of not addressing this issue. An issue that has caused a tribal divide in a Zimbabwe that did not have a tribal divide before. So, as far as I can see what is going on in Zimbabwe through social media, people are being killed for opening their mouths. Yeah, against the government. I, Thandiwe MSIMANGA, I am ready to speak to Mnangagwa. I don't know politics. I don't need politics. I don't live politics. Yeah, but I've got pain in my heart. But that pain has been numbed or bandaged by the type of treatment I've gotten here in Canada. And thank you to Jackie, my doctor, Jackie Gala, and her team. They've been so tremendous in their support. Yeah. So, if I speak to them, I want to be promised that I won't be killed, that my family won't be killed, because I'm speaking from things that I witnessed, things that I saw, the curfews, everything. So it's experienced it, lived it. Journey to South Africa, develop because of that. Life destroyed completely. So I'm willing that reasonable people, not threateners, will approach and talk to me and my other people that I'm with, who are survivors. Yes, my number can be displayed, but am I going to die because of speaking the truth? And I'm not speaking the truth to tarnish anybody's image. I'm bringing to light what we experienced in Cholocho, at the business center, Komalanda, Epupute, Echimila, Impelela, Kumbula, Kulagavili, Pelandaba, yeah, Kanyandavu. Will I be killed for that? I'm asking you pardon. What security are you giving me?
I do not think
that's.
I don't think the intention of this is to harm anyone. And although I cannot guarantee you anything because I don't work for government. So the thing is, if Mnangagwa has participated in this process, I don't think you would be going into this process to harm people. It won't make sense.
Let's talk. I want to sit down with Mnangagwa and have a one-on-one talk with him. I'm prepared. I'm prepared.
Approximately how many victims do you have in your WhatsApp group? Do you have a number like 100, 200?
The victims I have mostly in South Africa.
Yeah.
The last time I checked, when I was involved in a political group that somebody was maybe trying to use me, I don't know, because like as I said, I'm not a politician, I'm not interested in politics. I'm a working class, I've been working all my life. Yeah? So the people I represent mostly are the youths that are in South Africa. Yeah? Right now, the group might have a committee that I call a committee of about 10 or 15 that represent those families. Because the stories, we don't even to tell those stories without doctors, proper procedure of making sure that people's mental statuses are not taken back to that moment of madness, and you do not know how somebody can react after those wounds have been reopened. Already there's so much tension amongst the Shona and the Ndebele because of this issue not being addressed properly by the right people. I'm an elder in my community. That's why I'm called Mamtande. I didn't choose to be called Mamtande. I was called Mamtande because of the wisdom I give to these young ones and tell them, my kids, I experienced Gukurahundi myself first, and a lot of traumatic things happened that sometimes I'm even ashamed to speak about them. You understand? So if the president is willing, he's already opened the way to talk. So I'm waiting for them to call me. My number, you can put it there and they can call me. I'm not hiding from anybody. I did not kill anybody. I'm just a victim of the circumstances that I did not know what was happening. We had no information what was going on. We just been told that they were so-called dissidents. There was this, they want to eliminate, and all of a sudden, you know, all hell broke loose. And the other thing I wanted to address was through your video that you sent to me yesterday. I heard Jen, you said that Jen Williams, something like that, a lady, she said there are people who died through Gukurahundi, they don't have death certificates. If you go back to that moment and assume those bodies, or you know, go back to find out, okay, this is the number of people who died, what are you gonna put on the death certificates? So this process, let us think about it diligently, yeah? And let us not cause more disempowerment and more. The fear I have, again, this is one thing I want to address to you. What about the people in the villages? When they hear the name of Mnangagwa, Mnangagwa is associated, the name is associated with terror. And I'm speaking from the depth of my heart. I do not know Mnangagwa. What I know is that 5th Brigade came and attacked us. And we were beaten, raped, tortured, all the lives, witnessed the dead bodies. They were doing bumbwezi, beating us and everything every day for many years. Yeah? So if the villagers in Zimbabwe, Mnangagwa is coming, how do they feel? If me, I'm in a free country that expresses freedom of speech, can shiver at just hearing you mention Uti, the Mnangagwa's office can call me. But what gives me strength and hope is the freedom and the you know, this exposure that I've gotten here overseas, that is making me want to say, no. Let us go back to the trade podcast and have a discussion on things that have not gone right in the country and try and fix them in an amicable way. So, I mean, I'm okay if the president can call me, but let us stop trying to go to the villages, because right now, their answers obviously to anything that is being presented by the perpetrator will be a yes, because of fear that was instilled in people. And again, just recently, when I saw the army trucks going onto the roads, my brother, I called my daughter and said, I can't sleep, I don't know what's going on. He said, okay, who are you talking to? What's the situation? So I told him that I've got family back home. My roots are in Zimbabwe. I want my country to be rebuilt once again, and I want to be part and parcel of the force that is going to rebuild Zimbabwe through the expertise and the skills that we have gotten here overseas, right? But when I saw the army trucks on the road, my brother, I shivered. At night, I couldn't sleep. You understand? I couldn't sleep. It was so real. It took me back to the time when I saw 4 bodies of the so-called dissidents being dragged down from a crocodile truck in Choleto Business Center there. It brought back fresh memories. You understand? So we have to be careful how this dialogue is going. Yeah, it's really, really traumatic. So if you go to the people in the villages, they are driving those same cars. That brought fear, that killed their husbands or their wives or their brothers and sisters. It's not going to be a free and fair dialogue that is going to be held there. Yeah? It's not going to be free and fair at all. But yes, on the same token, we are ready for a discussion.
Right, Mam Thandi, I think let us end it here today. And then next week, let's come back and talk from the beginning of the time when you were in Cholocho to the very end when you left for South Africa. Can we do that next week?
Like as I say to you, I'm a professional person and I work. I'm off work now because of the COVID, I do 28 days at work and 28 days at home. So my 28 days of my time off finishes on Monday. On the 1st of September, I'm going back to work until the 29th of September, but I will see. And at work, I work in the mining sector. I work 12 hours a day, straight out through the whole 28 days. So I do not know if I will have time to talk to you like this because it's a work environment and it's 24 hours production of whatever it is we are mining over there. So I do not know if next week or this month of September it will be possible. But yes, I've been free for all these 28 days and I'm leaving on Tuesday for my workplace. So I don't know if you can make it earlier before then.
Okay, I'll arrange to call you before Monday and then we'll record the session, which will broadcast later on.
Okay, that's fine. And then my number, yes, you can put it there for them to call you. My number, yeah, but it has to be, in a right way. Let's do things the proper way. Even for the victims that are there in Zimbabwe and South Africa, let's do the things the proper way. Let us be mindful of the psychological trauma that they have gone through and they are still going through.
Right, thank you very much, Mam Thandiwe MSIMANGA. And is there anything else you want to say before we close?
Oh yeah, thank you so much for giving me this audience and this platform to speak. I've been the face of 5th Brigade here in Canada. I've been talking at universities and stuff like that, trying to tell people, even educate the people from Mashonaland, because the very sad thing about this whole issue, there is separation, but we're not supposed to be separated. Like for instance, I have kids from Mondoro, yeah? My first husband is from Mondoro, yeah? So my kids carry a Shona last name. And for us, there wasn't this tribal divide. But this Gukurahundi issue has brought a tribal divide. Sometimes, let me tell you, my brother, I used to look at the kids of some of these elite people because I met them, but they didn't know who I am. And if I had a very bad heart, I would have really done something bad to them here in America and in Canada. You understand? But because of being a mother, I would sit down with them, kids, this is what happened. And some of them, they did not know the extent of what Gukurahundi meant. You understand? So my prayer is that let us have a proper dialogue to address this. And most people who do not know about Gukurahundi, when they hear from people who are, who can put everything, according to exactly the way they experience things, there is that understanding, there is that empathy. I've gotten a lot of empathy from people of the Shona tribe. And to me, Shona is not it's my people. Those are my own people. You understand? So tribal divide has to be really mended. It has been, the main cause of this has been the Gukurahundi era. And the Gukurahundi era has been a plan for ZANU-PF or Mnangagwa or whoever, I don't know, they say this. Some of the people I speak to, they say there's a grand master plan that was in place before even 1979 and stuff like that. Yeah. So my prayer is that we respect one another and we speak the truth, and we are allowed to speak the truth and address the situation as it is. Then we come together on a truth and reconciliation platform, and we forgive one the other and embrace one the other and go ahead to rebuild our once beautiful nation of Zimbabwe. So thank you very much, Mr. Pardon.
Right, thank you very much, Mam Thandi. It was really a pleasure talking to you, and I hope that even people who are affected by Gukurahundi can also contact you on the number that I'm going to put on the screen. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Definitely. Thank you very much, my dear. God bless you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.